Hello and welcome to episode 48 of Elves, Rings, and Nerdy Things. This is your co-host Sam Marvin. I'm here with my other co-host Sean and special guest to be introduced in a second. Sean, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Big weekend, a lot of stuff, a lot of fun stuff, not really nerdy stuff, but we decided to change pace and we're going to play a game. And we brought longtime friend and listener of the show, Mike Ingram.
Hello.
You have a pretty substantial knowledge of Tolkien.
I dabble.
You dabble.
No, full confession, yeah, I probably do have a pretty good knowledge. I've seen all the movies multiple times, read the books being The Hobbit, The Fellowship, Two Towers, The Return of the King, and I have now listened to the audio recording of The Silmarillion, which I know there's been some back and forth debate on the podcast about whether or not listening to an audiobook counts in the same way as reading.
I know I count it because I'm currently listening to The Silmarillion.
Oh yeah,
and my Goodreads, if I wouldn't be close to the number of books I need for my yearly challenge if I wasn't listening to books.
I think the issue with audiobooks is sometimes it's hard to recall the information as well as one can recall written on the page, just that the manner of engagement.
Yes, a criticism I've heard you give before that I ardently disagree with. So
Wow.
On to the podcast anyways.
Okay.
Yes. 2-on-1 against Sam in this episode.
As an audio learner myself, hearing things sometimes embeds better than the visualization on the page.
Oh, there you go.
With the caveat and exception of languages. So obviously Tolkien's created languages, you're right, you have to read it in order to better understand it.
That's my thing with languages, or even just some fantasy names. Like the Witcher audiobooks, for instance, it is hard to recall specifically who somebody is because you only heard the pronunciation the one way, and you don't have a way of. For me, I like to imprint it and bring it up in my mind, but
which is funny because
else, it's fine.
When you and I discuss topics, your pronunciation of things that you've read is so different from what I pronounce them as. And when we watch the show and they pronounce it my way, I love it because I know you're wrong.
Or you're citing the Witcher show as your canon.
I'll take it.
There was some criticism in season 1 of people who were mispronouncing Skellig, and there was another one, Mahakam, the Mount Carbon for the dwarves. So I don't know if you can go with the show as your pronunciation guide there.
I still take it as a point of evidence that I'm right and you're wrong.
All right, fine. So, you can take the showrunners and the writers of the Witcher side. You can be on their team.
I'll use information when I will interpret information in a way that benefits me and not you.
Oh, good. Okay.
So we are not doing any reviews. We're finally done with The Witcher. Thank the gods that's over. And we decided to go back to Tolkien. That's why Mike is here, because he has such a good background on the material, at least the characters. And playing this game that I've come up with wouldn't be as fun with just Sam and I. It'd be pretty boring, so we at least wanted a third person. So what we're going to do today in honor of fantasy football starting up, you're a fantasy football fan, right, Mike?
Whoa.
Yep. In honor of fantasy football, we are going to play the Lord of the Rings fantasy draft battle. Royale is what I've kind of coined the term. What we're going to do is do a snake draft. So whoever picks first has to wait until pick 6. Like we'll go 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1 to determine our picks. We're each going to draft a team of 5 characters from the Peter Jackson trilogy. No books, no Hobbit movies, no Hobbit books, no Silmarillion, none of those, just the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings trilogy. We will, amongst ourselves, determine if a character fits the rules or not. So if Sam decides he wants to pick Tom Bombadil, we will have a discussion, and we will determine that we cannot pick Tom Bombadil because he does not appear in the Peter Jackson trilogy. It takes a 2/3 vote to allow someone if a character comes into question. What other rules am I missing? I think that's pretty much it.
Well, how are we
At
going to
least-
how are we going to
Who-
determine
yes.
the eventual winner?
To determine the winner, once we pick our teams of 5, we will randomly assort our characters drafted into 5 rounds of combat. In round 1, whoever we all pick to fight in round 1, we will discuss a fictional battle between the 3 characters, and then we will determine who wins round 1. That way, whoever drafts arguably the best team might not win the battle royale because of how they randomize their characters. So just to try to make it a little bit more interesting. At a point brought up earlier, if you pick a type of creature, so let's use Oliphant. If someone picks Oliphant and we are trying to figure out if we can pick Oliphant number 2, we're going to can it there. There's multiple Oliphants. So if someone picks Oliphant, Oliphant is just off the table. No more Oliphant picks. And that goes for all the other different types of characters.
There goes my all Oliphant strategy.
Yes. Because you're a cheater.
I didn't know the rules until just now.
That's why this rule was created, because I knew you'd do some stupid
I'm
shit like that.
kidding.
So what we're going to do, I have assigned each of us, without your two's knowledge, a type of crustacean creature. I'm going to list the 3 crustaceans, and Mike, you will order those crustaceans in however manner you would like, and that will determine our draft order. So the 3 types of crustacean, Mike, are lobster, crayfish, and shrimp. How would you like to order the crustaceans lobster, crayfish, and shrimp?
We are going to go with shrimp, which I'm predicting is Sam.
Okay.
Lobster, which is myself. And crayfish, which I'm predicting is Sean.
You got me right.
Damn.
But the order of our draft will be Mike, Sam, Sean. So Mike, you pick first, which is a lot of responsibility.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which is why I didn't want it. I'm also the largest and most cranky of the 3 of us, so I should be a lobster.
So I had a feeling that you were going to think that I was purposefully. So this is just so funny because, like, right before we started recording, I came up with these, and I knew you thought that I would like assign them based off personality, and I purposely tried not to. But that's really funny. Okay. So our draft order, Mike, Sam, Sean. We will start with the first round of our fantasy draft, starting with Mike. What character from the Peter Jackson trilogy are you going to pick in the first round?
I'm going to take my time with this first pick.
Okay.
I'm not going to be hasty. I'm going to pick Treebeard.
Treebeard. Okay.
Wrong move.
That is a very, yeah. I had him a little lower, but that's okay.
Okay, so I'm number 2. I'm going to go Gandalf the White.
Okay, so this is going to be our first discussion, I think. Does that mean Gandalf the Grey is now off the board?
Yes.
Yes, I think so too. 2 votes has it. Sam, even if you disagree, you're fucked.
I think that's fair.
Okay, well, still. My first pick, I'm going to go with the Witch King of Angmar, if I'm going to be particular.
Oh, not the other Witch King?
Excellent. That means I can pick the other Witch King, right?
And because we're doing a snake, it goes back to me for the first pick in the second round. I'm tempted to wait, but it's going to be a while before I pick again, and I don't want one of you two to steal him up. I'm going to go with my first pick in the second round, the King Under the Mountain.
Interesting move.
Under the mountain?
What was that?
Which King Under the Mountain?
The Ghost.
Oh, okay.
The King of the Dead. King of the
Yeah,
Dead men.
I was
Dead men
gonna
have done
King of
it.
the Dead.
I was going to pick the entire army of the dead.
Yeah, that one character.
Well,
Yeah.
do we want to bring that up? That King Under the Mountain, the dead King Under the Mountain, removes the army?
Yeah.
Okay. Sam?
I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, because it's just there's otherwise there'd be no way of actually figuring out
Okay.
this stuff.
Okay. So we're back to Sam.
All right, I will go with Aragorn, son of Arathorn.
Okay, Mike.
I'm going to go with the Mumakil.
I mean, we have no questions here. Mike, back to you.
Next up is going to be Elrond.
Okay, back to Sam. Now, this could also just turn out to be a really brief episode. We didn't really talk about how long this might be. This could be like a 25 minute.
Totally
but-
fine with me.
Yeah, just a fun little game.
I still got to mow the grass. Okay,
Got to look at my cheat sheet.
I will go with Galadriel.
Okay. I will take Legolas here. And it goes back to me again for round 4. I'm going to take Gollum
Bulb.
because I think I can do a lot to.
Oh, you're gonna juice him up?
I can.
You're gonna make the sale on the battlefield.
Yep.
With
I
Gollum?
can.
Okay.
I can sell Gollum on the battlefield.
All right.
Okay, Sam.
Okay, I will go with Saruman.
Okay. Mike, you've got 2 back to back here.
I'm going to go with Shelob.
Oh, you dirty dog.
Good pick.
That's a great pick.
Nobody saw that coming.
The last one's my last pick, right?
Yeah.
Since I don't have any men, I'm going to go with Faramir.
Ooh, good one.
Now, who's next? Me?
Yeah, you, and then I have the last pick.
Okay. I will go with Eowyn.
Okay. And for my last pick, I'm going to pick Lurtz. He is the Uruk that fights Aragorn at the end of the first film. Okay, I'm going to read everybody's teams. I'm going to start with Sam. Sam has Gandalf, Aragorn, Galadriel, Saruman, and Eowyn. I have the Witch King of Angmar, King Under the Mountain, Legolas, Gollum, and Lurtz. And Mike has a relatively stacked team. He snuck,
some big players here.
Yeah, he's got some Treebeard, Mumukil, Elrond, Shelob, and Faramir.
I spent the last several days thinking only about this to make sure I was prepared to dominate.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess a couple of us have Maiar, but Shelob was a sneaky Maiar. That's not one that I was ready for.
Although, to be fair, she's not really established as a Maiar in the films.
Okay, spawn of a Maiar. How's that?
Big spider will do for me.
Yeah,
giant-
he's
giant
big spider,
spider.
poison. Yeah, 8 legs, fangs.
Pretty sure there's only one person on this list who can beat her.
You have a point. So what we'll do now that we all have our teams of 5, randomize them, or however you would like to, with as best strategy as you can, sort them into 5 rounds for a battle royale.
Wait, we're going random selection?
You can. None of us are going to know how we're sorting them.
I can assure you mine is not random. I was very intentional in my order
Oh, really?
based on how I think y'all are going to pick.
I know. That's the tricky part.
Yeah.
And now, while you two are still making your decisions, I'm going to talk to the audience that's listening and advocate on behalf of the posse and the strong following of Elves, Rings, and Nerdy Things. We demand that you start doing a review of Peter Jackson's trilogy.
Oh,
The
that's
extent
a good idea.
you can do it in 6 episodes, and I've already figured out how you can break it down. When watching the extended versions on DVD, when it tells you to flip from side A to side B, that's the episode break.
Excellent.
You can cover what he did well, what he did poorly, what he left out. So you might need to break it into 2 episodes per half. But at minimum, I'm demanding 6 episodes from you two on the Peter Jackson trilogy.
I mean, I'm all for it.
I'm down. That sounds great.
It would be much better than continuing on with this Witcher nonsense, which was most confusing in this season.
Oh, trust me, the Witcher nonsense is in the past.
I think the Witcher nonsense is
source
gonna.
material, and this last season was trash.
What'd you say about the source material?
I'm not familiar with it.
Oh, okay.
This last season, I spent so much time confused and not understanding anything.
I'm glad that it's not just us.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I also still haven't finished Andor because I'm still convinced it's trash.
Really?
Ooh,
But
That's a bold statement.
That's a
I
saucy
greatly
take.
enjoyed the other one, The animated one. What do you call it? The D&D game that they turned into a movie.
Oh, Critical Role.
Oh, Critical Role, yeah. Legend of Vox Machina.
Yeah.
I had never watched that, but because of the podcast, and because when it comes to podcasts, I'm a purist and will only listen to a podcast if I've watched what they're talking about. I had to
So
watch.
that brought you in.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
All right.
I'm a big fan.
Well, you'll be happy to know that they're turning the other campaign that they did into a animated show as well. So you get even more material. Yeah.
Love it. But first, Elves, Rings, and Nerdy Things must do a review of Peter Jackson's trilogy.
No fewer than 6 episodes on the Peter Jackson trilogy.
Correct. It has been demanded.
On the extended edition.
Extended edition
as well.
That's a lot of hours.
That's the only edition.
I mean, we were discussing what we're going to do next, and I think that's on the short list now. Especially if we can divvy it up into each movie as a half.
Bite-sized chunks. Yeah.
One half a movie a week. Yeah. You with a baby can totally do that.
Yeah.
I figured I would, if I made it in a reasonable argument that was doable, you'd be more inclined.
I mean, honestly, I'm surprised it's taken to episode 48 for us to really consider.
Well, it's in the background for everything, right? It's it was constantly in our Rings of Power critique. We did one episode about looking back at the trilogy 20 years later. Yeah. That clickbaity article.
Oh yeah, that's right.
All right, shall we jump in?
Yeah, I just finally got my 5 rounds. So I think what we're going to do, we'll do it in the same. We'll reveal in the draft order. So we'll go Mike, Sam, Sean every round. Whoever at that point we'll have a discussion on who we think would win between a battle between those 3 characters. So Mike, who did you pick for round 1?
Round 1, I offered up my Mumakil.
Okay. Sam, who did you pick for round 1?
Saruman.
Okay. I picked Lurtz. I was hoping I'd get a human or an elf in this battle, but I'm just going to admit that I lost.
Well, yeah, technically you work for me, so I'm going to make you fight the Mumakil to start with.
Until I die.
Until you die. And then I feel that Saruman would throw bombs at the elephant. That's not even dipping into any magic.
I might argue that Lurtz is going to stab Saruman for trying to make him attack the Mumakil, and then my Mumakil is going to promptly step on Lurtz. Because, according to the film, Saruman dies because somebody who works for him stabs him in the back.
Correct. If Sean had picked Grima Wormtongue, I would go with you, but since he didn't.
Lurtz is a little bit more fearsome of a, contender than Grima would have been.
Yeah, I think I'm going to say, because Lurtz is my character in this battle, I'm going to say Lurtz dies at the hands of the Mumakil, or at the feet of the Mumakil, rather. And then I'm going to let you guys hash this out between Saruman and a Mumakil. I want to see what the arguments for and against are. Okay. I mean, we have bombs.
Bombs. That's not. And then you have the magic. Compelling. I mean, he imprisoned Gandalf the Grey. Used just going based off the movie stuff. Used telekinesis to fling him hundreds of feet through the air to the top of the tower.
That's just a little tiny guy. I'm a big old Mumakil. I'm the size of a mountainside.
But all I need to do is knock you over,
and then I fall on you.
He can do
very
it
unpredictable which way my Mumakil is going to fall.
I think the final.
Hold on one second. Yeah. I've just realized something. Each of you need to persuade me because this is a two-thirds vote.
So you're hearing these arguments here.
Yeah.
Okay, but I want you to direct it more towards me now because you guys are talking to each other.
You're dead. You're not important anymore. You're irrelevant now.
Yeah, I think Saruman exists in a higher plane of existence. He's a Maiar, so he's gonna take that Mumakil and unfortunately commit some animal cruelty.
Mike?
Yeah, I'm good. That works for me. I very much put the Mumakil in the first round because I knew it would die.
So you concede this round?
I concede this round and offer up my Mumakil.
I was gonna pick Mumakil because Sam, you did a shit job of.
What are you talking about?
You could have said Saruman's going to conjure a storm and strike it with lightning.
Oh, okay. There you go. You
didn't say
you made that point for me.
Your only point was, it's going to push it over.
Well, okay. So telekinesis, explosions, Yeah, Storm. There we go. Okay, I'll take the win. So does Saruman now move on to the next round, or does he
No,
get
no.
replaced?
You just win round one.
Okay.
So I'll say,
if you move on to the next round, I would have made a far more impassioned advocate.
argument. Yeah, Sam. All I got to say is you did not defend Saruman.
What the one thing I missed was the Storm. Okay, fine. Yeah, the Storm.
No. The better argument would have been if Saruman just pulled out a mouse from his pocket.
That's the Radagast. That's the Radagast argument. He was the mouse in front of him.
As soon as a Mumakil falls over, its ribs fracture and dig into its lungs, and it dies.
Pops a lung. Okay, round two. Mike, who did you pick for round two?
I've got Elrond for round two.
Okay, Sam.
I'm going Gandalf the White.
And I've got this one in the bag. I picked the Witch King of Angmar.
No, you are absolutely going to lose this one.
Really?
Gandalf the Grey and Elrond sent a little bit of water downstream and unhorsed your Witch King, so much so they had to flee back home and get redressed again.
Yeah, but no man can kill me.
Yeah, Elrond's not a man, neither is Gandalf.
Halfsies at best.
When Gandalf and the Witch King actually go at it, I destroy Gandalf's staff and leave him. The only reason
help an old man stay on his feet.
The only reason I do not devour Gandalf with my fell beast is because I'm distracted. So I think
you don't have the fell. This is just the Witch King. Do you have the fell beast?
Yeah, I could have walked up and stabbed him. That makes no sense.
Don't you fret. Elrond's going to take a nice, well-lit torch and just chuck it right into your face hole.
I'll get to Elrond.
Have to run away again too.
But I'm demanding that Witch King versus Gandalf is settled. Gandalf is losing this fight.
I don't think that's...
I agree with that because Elrond then beats the Witch King.
Well, we'll get to that.
I don't think you can have Gandalf go down to the Witch King.
We've established in the movies that your staff is one of the most important aspects of being a wizard. Gandalf destroys Saruman's staff, and Saruman is basically magicless at that point. We have another confrontation between the Witch King and Gandalf. The Witch King destroys Gandalf's staff. Now, we'll take Fell Beast out of it. But we have the Witch King who didn't... The Fell Beast isn't what destroyed Gandalf's staff. It's the Witch King. I'm saying at that point, all the Witch King needed to do was slowly stab Gandalf in the chest. Gandalf's dead.
Gandalf has a sword, so he can fight the Witch King.
Where was the sword when he was laying on his back, ready to accept death? He didn't even draw it. He just sat there.
The scene gets cut. You don't actually see the fight. You don't actually know what would happen. You don't see what Gandalf would and could do.
There was fear in his eyes.
Theoretically, Gandalf, at the end of the Fellowship, Gandalf died to the Balrog, but we know Gandalf summons the ability. This is Gandalf the Grey, summons the power to not just defeat the Balrog, but has the endurance to fight him for days and nights, climbing all the way to the top of the mountain.
A Balrog is not the Witch King of Angmar.
Yeah, a Balrog would be stronger than the Witch King of Angmar.
It is not. The Witch King has a ring of power.
The Balrog is a Maiar from the First Age.
Do the films accurately depict that the Witch King is still in possession of that ring of power? So I don't think you can argue that.
I'm taking a vote based off of the return.
Mike is the one who's determining this, right? He's the deciding vote.
I'm saying based off of the Return of the King movie, Gandalf gets his ass beat by the Witch King.
No, he gets his.
Nope. So I'm going to vote.
Broken.
I'm going to vote.
Witch we know how you're voting. It's how Mike's voting.
I know. I'm calling for a vote right now. Witch King beats Gandalf because it happened in the movie.
It didn't happen in the movie. You had
a tease. I really want to vote in favor of you, Sean, because I think that helps me, but I can't.
Oh, that hurts.
Witch King loses.
I just want to say there's a confrontation between the characters in the movie, and one wins the confrontation.
It's inconclusive.
It is not inconclusive.
The first time there's a confrontation between the two characters, the one that's more powerful is miles away and sends a horse out of water.
Yeah, and the first time that Éowyn and the Witch King
confront
one another, he breaks her arm, but then she stabs him in the face.
Hold on. Mike, you're referencing what happens in the film or in the book. In the movie, Éowyn calls the running water, not Gandalf.
No. Because when Frodo wakes up in Rivendell,
Yep.
Gandalf admits that he assisted with sending the water because he could see the horses in it. Come at me, bro.
He tweaks it. He doesn't.
True.
He doesn't cause it.
Tweakers can make changes too.
This is bullshit. I mean, it's the vote is the vote, but
the
this
votes,
is
you
bullshit.
gotta respect democracy here.
I'm gonna fuck with this game later on if it comes down to me. I just want
editing.
you.
It's the
I
editing.
want you. No, not editing. I'm
Okay.
saying when it comes to the votes,
Okay.
you guys are screwed. All right, now you guys have to tell me who wins between your final two, Gandalf and Elrond. And I'm saucy now, so
it's 100% Elrond. Gandalf likes Elrond. They're trusting. They're friends. He's old. He doesn't pay attention, and Elrond stabs him right between the ribs.
So
Elrond learned from his mistake of being, gentle and kind, and
should have pushed Isildur into the volcano. Yeah.
Right into the volcano. He's not fucking around this time. Gandalf is going down.
So, but this assumes that Gandalf knows that there's a so that assumes that Gandalf knows there isn't going to be a confrontation.
Yep.
But if he knows there's going to be a confrontation, I feel like Gandalf would have a way to get the edge.
And what way is that? Because I'm not convinced.
Magic?
Yeah, but Elrond's a super old elf who knows how to get around those things. He's been hanging out with his lady friend Galadriel for a couple thousand years, and she taught him a thing or two.
Going to come down to Sean.
yippee.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Sean would have picked the Witch King, but
well,
so I'll say only because I think, I know the Witch King would have beaten Gandalf. I'm going to give this one to Mike. So
hey, there you go. Oh, petty. Even though he was the deciding vote against you, you're going to reward him in the second round.
Well, because I'm not even going to go further on it. Mike,
Okay.
You win that round. Round 3, Mike, who did you pick for round 3? Faramir?
Faramir, the least favorite son of Gondor.
Okay. Sam, who did you pick?
Aragorn.
Okay. And I picked Legolas. Faramir, Aragorn, and Legolas in round 3.
So, I mean, I think we can all pretty quickly agree if Faramir wins.
Okay.
Sam, I think we can agree Faramir loses to both Legolas and Aragorn.
I think we have to admit that Faramir, while a good man, is not the match for Aragorn.
I'll say, and if we're talking about the books, because we've talked about how the movies have done Faramir dirty. Faramir is one of the best characters in the books to me.
Yeah.
Makes him one of my favorite characters in Lord of the Rings because of his book portrayal.
In the book, and it's not much about the martial ability, though. It's more about his strength of character, his goodness, his wisdom.
His morals, yeah.
Yeah, which we couldn't really... I mean, that doesn't come into a battle royale consideration here, unfortunately. I think
in this fight, Faramir's dead. Sorry, Faramir.
Yep, that's fair. He would do much better with planning a battle and overseeing and being the wise, morally upstanding person, which is why I picked him.
Letting other people die for him, yeah.
Exactly.
Cheering up Eowyn.
Okay, so now it's down to Legolas and Aragorn. Now, in every battle, Aragorn kills a handful of people. Legolas kills like 20, 30, 40, 50. And
never more than 42.
Okay. Aragorn needs an army. He's a good commander, right? We can all agree on that. He's a good leader of men and elves. But I think when he's by himself, he would lose.
Single-handedly drives off 5 Nazgul. Yes.
He would lose with fire.
He had the hobbits.
He also had
they were very useful.
Who were distracted by Frodo in the ring, thus allowing Aragorn to get the attack of surprise.
And he didn't even have...
And throw fire on them.
He didn't even have Anduril for that fight.
Yeah, he doesn't have Anduril until the end of the movie. In the movies, I
know. He defeated 5 Nazgul without the Flame of the West, just with a random longsword, which he doesn't have in the books, and a torch. Here's my argument.
Yeah, but tell me with Legolas. I don't care what he did with. He's not fighting a Nazgul right now. Well, he's fighting Legolas.
I understand that. So if the fight with Legolas, the question is it close quarters or is it at range? Because if it's at range, then I think Legolas would have an edge with the archery. But what are the circumstances in which Legolas and Aragorn are getting into a fight where Aragorn would allow Legolas to get that distance on him.
I mean, we never talked about the parameters of this fictional
I think that's true.
coliseum.
So we're gonna have to hammer this out.
So I think in any battle setting, they wouldn't find themselves in like a 5x5 room. Even in that instance, I think Legolas with the hand-to-hand combat with his double blades drawn would do a little bit better of a fight versus a longsword and how encumbering that would be. So I'm going to say yes, in both situations, Legolas would win the fight. If we're talking in distance, boom, arrow through the temple.
Although Aragorn did display his ability to deflect missiles.
Well, let's take 3 in a row, back to back to back. I don't think he's blocking 3 in a row. And to me, there's a difference between a slower dagger being thrown versus a very fast arrow coming at you.
Okay. Let's think about...
So hold on. If we're talking distance, I think Legolas wins no matter what. If we're talking close quarters, Aragorn is much more of a martial paladin style fighter. To me, he's a little bit more encumbered in his fighting style. Legolas is swift. He's dexterous.
But Aragorn has reach, and one hit of that longsword is going to do a lot more damage than those knives.
Having your throat cut?
I don't think Legolas could get that close. And the longsword is able to protect your throat.
He can't get that close. He's a 1,000 plus 2,000-3,000 year old elf
who got his ass handed to him by Bolg in the Hobbit films.
But we're not talking about
I know, I'm just saying. And granted, Orlando Bloom's like 20 years older.
I would like that stricken from the record because that is not...
So here's the problem is we only ever see Legolas taking on... Let's see. Legolas, to be fair, Legolas takes out the Mumakil, which is impressive. He delivers the coup de grace.
Bombs like your guy had to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he didn't have to use explosions. Legolas delivers the coup de grace to the cave troll in the Fellowship.
Yeah, thank you for all of these points. This is really great.
He could not take down the berserker who ran in to blow up the deeping wall.
He killed it. It just used its momentum to destroy the wall.
No, I think
you're telling me the angle of that arrow is not piercing his heart. Come on.
He didn't hit him in the chest.
Yeah, it went through his no, it didn't. It went through his collarbone. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike.
I don't think that worked. Either way, he failed. He failed. He didn't bring that. Anybody knows you should have shot him in the knee, should have shot him in the eye, but you shot him in the fleshiest part where he's going to be able to absorb the damage. Sorry, Legolas.
That's where their armor's the weakest. He had to shoot him there.
He wasn't wearing any armor at all.
So what was Aragorn doing during this battle? Getting blown up by a bomb, falling in water, retreating constantly,
inspiring the king to ride out with him,
and during that same battle,
all those
Legolas slides downstairs on a shield while also taking out like 4 guys with his bow.
I think if you go,
then he shoots the shield into a guy's chest, killing that guy, and then takes his double knives, as you want to call them, which they're actually short swords.
No, they're
not. And
knives.
then he kills like 4 more guys. So all I'm saying is, if you look at the battle count, at that battle in particular, as Mike stated.
Now, if you let me get a word in edgewise, if you go based on what we see in the movies, the actual martial skill displayed in the movies, Legolas has probably the more impressive track record.
Thank you. Let's take a vote.
From a body count perspective,
I vote Legolas beats Aragorn.
I want to hear what Sam has to say here.
I think the power
like 20 minutes ago, but I want to hear how this goes.
The power of Aragorn. Well, to be fair, the reason I selected Aragorn is so that when he goes up against the King of the Dead Men, he wins automatically. But
so that's just good placement.
That was good timing for you. Yeah. In the books, I mean, in the movies, Aragorn's most impressive martial display is defeating the Nazgul, driving off the Nazgul single-handedly without any sort of magical assistance.
But Legolas isn't a Nazgul.
True, but again, the Nazgul also... Well, the Nazgul have swords.
Sam, that argument works against my Witch King pick, but it doesn't work here. Sorry, buddy.
So I'm going through trying to catalog here. You got the Nazgul fight.
Let me make all these points that don't matter.
Cave troll fight. See, Aragorn's always in a position. He kills Lurtz defeats Lurtz in a battle.
Yep. After almost getting his ass kicked. Legolas would have just put an arrow between him from 50 yards away.
And I think, again, that's why I think Legolas in a battle royale setting,
Mike, you see what he's
in
doing?
a close quarters combat, I think Legolas probably
wins. Yeah.
wins. Although, because
Yes!
we're completely discarding
No,
the.
you just said it.
No, I'm just saying.
Either way, Legolas wins.
Yes!
Whether it's at
No,
a
I think-
distance, whether it's in close quarters, the fact of the matter is Legolas wins.
Yeah, I think if you throw aside all of the actual characterization and only look at their martial abilities as displayed in the movie,
Yep.
Legolas is the superior close quarters and distance threat.
Okay.
Even though Aragorn is, the ultimate hero.
I think we need the record to indicate that for the third round, that was a 3-way unanimous decision.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Legolas wins.
Now, I'll say we each have one win. I should have two, but I'm not salty about that at all. Round 4. Mike, who did you pick?
Shelob.
Okay. Sam?
Eowyn. I thought we'd be able to actually pick our head-to-heads. So I had arguments for like Eowyn beats Witch King.
Yeah, that would have been good.
No question, right?
That's why
Galadriel beats Shelob, I would think.
That's why it's like Pokemon. You have your 6 on your belt, and then you just pick randomly. You don't know who you're going to fight.
Yeah, but you throw out different Pokemon when you see you're going up against. If I'm walking through the freaking forest where there's a bunch of insects, I got my Charmander in first position.
Yeah, well, this is more fun. So
no, it's not, because I'm losing.
We're tied. You're not losing.
I'm gonna lose this one.
About to be losing.
This one, you will.
I would say that Eowyn has no chance against. Well, you didn't even say who you picked.
So we have Shelob, Eowyn, and I picked King Under the Mountain for this one. So I think
Shelob versus King Under the Mountain is actually a very interesting matchup.
I'm a ghost. She can't harm me.
But how are you going? Well,
I'll kill her. Legit. I'm made up of a ghost army that swarms a Mumakil like termites on a piece of rotting wood.
But you're stuck under your mountain until the king lets you out. I can go wherever I want.
No, not necessarily.
Yeah.
I just stay there because I don't want to fuck with anybody. And the moment he's like, you can get rid of this curse by leaving your mountain, then I'm like, okay, I'll leave the mountain. But that's not stopping me. Riders don't go by the mountain because they fear what happens in those passes. So clearly I go on little jaunts.
For my high pass. Ain't nobody walking by me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we never interact with each other.
It's a battle between the recluses. What are they even fighting over?
Recluse. You're a ghost of a mere mortal man. I am spawn of
Ungoliant
before me.
I mean, okay, so Eowyn's dead by this point.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to stand by the fact that I can go through walls. I can kill things as a ghost.
Shelob's just going to Kool-Aid man that wall.
The only thing...
She's going through the wall too.
I know, but she goes through the wall. She'll go straight through me too, because she can't harm me.
Wow.
She can't touch me. And then as she's passing through me, I just poke her in the heart and she dies.
This does point out potentially a problem with the Return of the King, which is the army of the dead is a little OP.
Yeah, it is. But they do solve that though in the movie when Gimli's like, oh, we should just keep using him. And then Aragorn's like, but it's my oath. And he's a man of honor. So
correct.
Here's the thing though. We're forgetting that Shelob's stinger is pretty powerful. Shelob's stinger is so powerful that it can pierce Frodo's mithril. Who's to say that it can't pierce your ghostly flesh?
Because it's not flesh. It's
ghostly flesh.
Plasma, phantasm,
ectoplasm.
Ectoplasm
is a lot easier and softer to pierce than mithril.
Well, she'd pierce my ghost flesh with her poison, and then it would just drip onto the floor. So,
Mike, I think the challenge here is that Shelob would be a good match for literally any corporeal opponent.
Literally fucking anyone else. I would have beaten anybody else with Shelob.
And Mike just concedes with that comment.
Yeah.
And
But
I'll take.
I'd like to say I made a valiant effort in arguing on behalf of Sheila.
Yes, you did.
Shelob, she's against most anybody else. I think Shelob would probably.
I think against everybody else.
My thinking with Galadriel is Galadriel has the
Galadriel can do it.
the one thing that can
the file. Yeah.
And that's
I guess
I mean, what
Galadriel or
Samwise
Sam.
Samwise Gamgee, yeah.
No, but Sam doesn't defeat her. He just gets her to go away. Galadriel really is the only like living creature I think that had a chance out of this group.
Yeah. Okay, final round. The current standings: Mike has 1, Sam has 1, Sean has 2. If I win this round, I take the game. If one of you two win this round, we have a tie for first. And then we have to figure out what the fuck we're gonna do with it.
Then we get to pick our lineups based on who they go up against.
No, that's not how that works.
Yeah, if you have a team, if you want to pick,
I think we just anticlimactic flip a coin.
Oh, it's a tie for the win. Okay, here we go.
Okay,
right.
so round 5.
Hit the final because he's always slow.
Treebeard.
Show up, Treebeard.
Okay, Treebeard.
Galadriel
versus Gollum. You know what the funniest thing? I switched right before we had our selections picked. I switched King Under the Mountain and Gollum. So Shelob definitely would have won the last round had I not switched. So Treebeard, Gollum, Galadriel. Who would like to go first?
What's Gollum gonna do to me? Bite me with his 6 teeth? Like Gollum's not even relevant at this point.
I didn't say he was.
Treebeard and I are gonna knock Gollum right off this scene.
Yeah, I'll claim a loss here. My only thing with Gollum, if Gollum was with like Eowyn, anybody other but Treebeard, I could make an argument for Gollum and Galadriel because he's so shifty and stealthy.
Yep.
But even if I did say or convince you guys that Gollum could beat Galadriel, once it got down to Treebeard and Gollum's just being popped like a grape. So,
and I think, that is true. I would think too that Galadriel, as an elf and a very powerful elf, he's probably so afraid of her that many of his,
for sure,
he could choke out Eowyn for sure.
Galadriel and Treebeard.
Yeah, I just don't.
You guys pretty much have to convince me. So
what Galadriel could possibly do to defeat Treebeard?
I think she could tell him to go back to sleep.
I'd say just because the elves awoke the Ents and taught them language doesn't mean that they can put them to sleep.
That's not a thing.
What else you got, Sam?
She's not quick enough to chop me down with an axe. I'm too thick anyways.
I think the problem,
She doesn't have the ring of fire, so she's useless there. Like, and even still, if she sets me on fire before I completely burn out, I'm gonna take her down with me, or I'm just gonna drown in the fucking flood of the river.
I think the issue is
she's got nothing on me.
She's so powerful, you can't even express how powerful she is in the movies. It just doesn't come through the right way. So I think we should just probably defer to her being able to conjure like a fireball or, open up a void in the earth, then you fall into it.
Okay, I'll climb out of the void.
Well, no, then I'll close it back up over you.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I picked Galadriel because I thought I could pick my lineup, and it was like, she can take out Shelob, and that'll be fine and win that round.
Okay, but I did say, so don't be all poo-pooey, Sam. I did say at the beginning that we're going to randomly place our characters into 5 rounds for a battle royale. So you knew these were the rules.
Yeah, but I picked my team based on.
Well, that's your strategic fault.
Okay, well, then okay, fine. Okay, the argument for Galadriel.
What was that, Mike?
I picked my team to win.
Yeah, I don't think movie Galadriel has any possible. I don't think Lord of the Rings original trilogy Galadriel has the ability to defeat Treebeard in a battle royale. Maybe Hobbit trilogy Galadriel when we see her go toe to toe with Sauron. But
even that, Treebeard's not hasty and he moves a little slow. But when he scoops down and squeezes you real tight,
oh yeah,
pop off like a daisy.
Well, okay, so
And that's if I decide to scoop down and pick her up. If I just decide to step on her like that poor little orc,
You
I
just
think
become topsoil.
the issue is that we don't know what her power turned malevolent really looks like. We only get a hint of it with the Dark Lady.
You would have a queen.
Yeah. We only get a hint of that. And even then, I feel like Treebeard, the power of Galadriel is all about
making the forest grow.
Yeah.
It's going to make my Treebeard even bigger.
Mic drop. Mike wins.
Like,
she's Tree Viagra. That's what we're saying here. Give him a tree erection so powerful that he tips over.
Mike wins.
Mike wins.
5.
Treebeard, overall number 1 overall pick, ends up winning it for you.
Yeah. So Sam loses the game,
despite having probably the best lineup if we were able to strategize.
But when it comes to who wins the game, it's a 2-way tie for first. Mike has won 2 rounds, and I have won 2 rounds. How do we want to determine this? I mean, I'm cool with a coin flip. It doesn't bother me.
Well, who are the surviving winning parties are Elrond, Treebeard for Mike, and the King of the Dead and Legolas for Sean.
Yep.
Do we want to go 2 versus 2?
I think, and you put them both out there at the same time.
Okay, so it's Elrond and Treebeard versus Legolas and King Out of the Mountain, I think King Out of the Mountain just kills them both because he's a ghost.
Yeah, but before that might happen, theoretically, I'm not conceding. Legolas is going to die no matter what.
Legolas dies. Yeah,
for sure, kill Legolas. So Legolas dies.
Even if it's Elrond v Legolas, I think Elrond wins.
Elrond wins. Yeah. So really, now it's down to Elrond and Treebeard versus King Under the Mountain.
What I'll say though, if Elrond and Legolas are currently in a fight, King Under the Mountain's not just going to sit there. He's going to go after Treebeard.
Yeah, and spend all eternity hacking at me with an axe or a sword.
That's true. They don't show the power that the Treebeard is probably resilient enough to withstand the attack of the King Under the Mountain long enough for Elrond to dispatch Legolas. Because the power of the king.
Correct. That's the point, because that's important.
Yeah, he's got durability.
But here's my point.
Treebeard and Elrond are still alive.
I'm a ghost. I can go through walls.
Yeah, but Elrond can dispatch.
Even
so
if this
Elrond lives and kills Legolas, and it leaves Elrond and Treebeard against the King Under the Mountain, your dude loses to Elrond.
How?
A mortal man king cursed him. You think Elrond, half-elven, can't curse him back?
The only person that can command me or do anything to me is the King of Gondor. And at this point,
who does the King of Gondor get his fancy sword from that he's allowed to fight with?
At that point, it's completely broken.
Yeah,
Elrond doesn't wield.
Who reforged it?
Plus, he's not the king.
Here's a question, though. Does Elrond have a claim to the kingship of Gondor? Could he somehow
he rescinded
whip out
it.
Elrond? Well, I'm just saying, for the purposes of this battle royale, could he assert a viable claim to the kingship of Gondor?
I don't think everybody's just going to sit there and be like, well, let's talk through this claim quick.
Well, Treebeard would listen to it.
Treebeard would listen, and we're under the interpretation that curses need us to sit there and interpret the lineage, whereas the curse just knows that he has a legitimate claim based on bloodline alone. So whether or not he rescinded it or not, the curse don't care, because blood matters.
I'm saying Elrond does not wield Anduril, the Flame of the West.
Only because he chose not to.
Again, because it's all broken pieces at this point.
You're assuming this battle royale takes place during the Fellowship or the Two Towers, which we haven't determined.
True.
Neither have you.
I'm assuming the battle royale takes place after the blade has been remade. Because otherwise, the king's irrelevant altogether. He's just sitting under his mountain doing whatever the fuck he wants. So really, we're gonna go even further back. Why is the king fighting any of these people? Because Aragorn didn't tell him to. So your king is useless because he's just sitting there, not able to
If
do
we're gonna make
anything.
those arguments, why is Treebeard fighting the king under the
Well,
mountain?
okay, here's the thing.
He's not a
Why are
threat.
any of these people fighting each other?
He's
I
not a
think
threat to Fangorn.
we
So
we have to assume that all these people want to fight each other and that they're at the height of their powers.
okay, but also I'm getting into the mindset of the fighters going into the battle. To me, they're not all just sitting there going, "Ooh, I'm about to go to battle against these creatures that I don't know." Elrond's not coming prepared to fight the king under the mountain. He's not like, "Oh, I got to fight the king under the mountain. I'm going to go get the sword of Anduril and go fight this guy."
Here's my where I
He's
would
not.
say
He wouldn't go wield a weapon he doesn't normally traditionally yield to go into a battle.
Is it essential for the king to be wielding the sword in order to command the king under the mountain? Or is it enough for the king of Gondor, the rightful heir, to just command?
I think the king under the mountain says himself, only the king of Gondor can command me. It's not the wielder of the sword. The sword is just a symbol.
The sword is what can cause damage to my guy, though.
Well, but Elrond has a different sword that he can cause damage with.
Yeah, I think the point is that if he could
Elrond
embody
just
the
gonna press him into oblivion.
Then why does Elrond even bring Anduril in the first place?
Well,
If that was if he could have used any sword, then Elrond would have just been like, go to the kingdom under the dead or under the mountain.
because Aragorn needed the sword, because Aragorn's not as cool as Elrond. He's a mere Dunedain.
All I'm saying, even if you guys outvote me in this, I'm a ghost that can enter into Treebeard and stab his heart because I can pass through objects. So while Legolas and Elrond are fighting,
Has a heart,
he breathes.
and that means he has lungs.
I'm assuming he's got. Okay, then I stab his lungs.
Plants go through perspiration, but they have a distributed vascular system, so there's
stop.
no heart. I think the problem is, again,
my
going
character's
the king
too
under
OP.
the film version of the king under the mountain is a little OP to be getting into duels with everybody. However, and this is why I asked about the Hobbit, because the Hobbit trilogy gives Elrond the ability to fight ghosts, because he fights the theoretically ghosts that are disembodied things are even more powerful than the king under a mountain. So I think there are hints of the power of Elrond, and if you dip into the books, the world of the unseen, all that other stuff. But if we're only going based on the Peter Jackson trilogy,
But if we're going based off of the Peter Jackson trilogy, we do know that Elrond has the gift of foresight, which I think is easily tied into ability and knowledge over things unseen and spiritual ghosts.
or the foresight to reforge the sword of Anduril and use that to kill the witch.
Well, he was prepared to fight with a weapon he doesn't normally use because he saw it. He glimpsed the future.
He sees possible futures.
And he prepares for them.
All of them.
I think we should leave it at a coin toss because there is no actual way to answer this question. Each of you have performed valiantly. Everybody knows that my lineup would have won had I been given the ability to pick it in advance of.
No, your lineup would have defeated.
I don't know how anybody on your lineup kills Treebeard.
So Sam, you did a really good
fair question.
You did a really good job of picking like specific characters that would beat another character in a battle. But each time you'd be like, you took out one of Mike's or one of mine, but then the other character would slaughter yours. So,
well, I think anybody beating Treebeard in a battle, other than the king under the mountain, the king of the dead, that's a challenge.
Looking at the list, Amuma kill maybe.
Wow. And it's part of my team. Why is my team fighting itself?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would say Treebeard would take a big boulder and throw it right at the Mumakil's head.
Yeah, good point.
Well, this has been fun.
Well, let's flip a coin and see who wins. Mike, do you have a coin on you?
No.
Do you have anything you can flip?
Please hold.
I have a coin.
Oh, thank God.
I would rather Mike do it because then it's like the most partial. He's a guest on the show.
But he's also one of the contenders.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it should not be me because I might cheat.
Okay, at least you're honest. All right, Sam. I'll let Mike pick the heads or tails.
It'll be a second to get my coin.
Are you opening a coin purse right now?
Well, no, I have a a piggy bank, but I taped it shut when we moved, and I haven't untaped it.
I have a coin.
There we go.
Okay.
So this is, my friend gave this to me. It's an FBI challenge coin.
Okay.
On the front, we've got the seal. And on the back, we've got the Quantico Academy.
Okay.
So, since I'm flipping, Sean, what's your preferred?
I'll pick Quantico for the win.
Quantico for the win. All right. I'm going to flip it. I'm going to catch it in my hand, and then I'm going to
flip it over. Okay.
Ready?
I agree with it unless I lose on the flip.
You lost on the flip.
Okay, I accept. Mike wins.
Which I'm glad we've established that I win, because I shouldn't have.
You think
the king under the mountain can't be beaten by
only Aragorn with Andoril can defeat the king under the mountain?
Elrond could beat the king under the mountain, but probably not.
I think we just don't know enough about the true power of these individuals in the movies to make the argument. If we expand it to the books, we could come up with all sorts of.
I know that's the hard part
things.
of using what we're shown in the movies to make these determinations.
So screw you, Peter Jackson. You should have shown us more about their power levels.
Yeah.
I am happy I didn't lose.
Coin flip, though. The only reason why I was willing to flip the coin and beat you, Sean, is because I made one hell of an argument every step of the way.
Yes.
So next time, be more prepared and do better.
What a great way to end the show.
I guess I was just flabbergasted that you were making counters to my argument that I could just go inside of him and kill him. But, it is what it is. And I'm just happy I didn't come in last place. That's Sam's spot. So
I'm just happy that I had the best overall team for any other format.
Okay.
One where you know who you're fighting.
Well, next time
the standard way for people to fight one another in a controlled setting.
Next time you pick the format of our game, then.
That's fair enough.
Thank you, Mike, for playing this game with us. We appreciate your attendance.
And if you, Mike, anytime you want to come back, let us know. This was a ton of fun. We can do this maybe during
with different themes as well. We could do
The Witcher.
We could do The Witcher. We could do The Hobbit. We could do Legend of Vox Machina.
Just the dwarves from The Hobbit.
Harry Potter. We could do Harry Potter.
Oh.
That'd be a fun one.
I'd be happy to come back anytime. Hopefully the audience appreciates me as much as you two have.
Yeah.
And since bulk of the audience is your wives and family, I think I should be good.
Well, if any of the audience members, any of the listeners think that we got it wrong, think that, oh, wait a second, Treebeard,
Sam should have won.
XYZ. Yeah, mainly if you think I should have won. Just kidding. And then you're arguing about the format. And we know Sean's a stickler over the format.
That's the rules we agreed to.
That's the rules you agreed to. Anyway, if you like this, let us know. If you had any, who would you picked overall? I think Treebeard overall number 1 was an excellent choice. King Under the Mountain, though, kind of OP when you.
I do. Yeah, I have a question on that. Did either of you have lists on your list? Have the Witch King or King Under the Mountain?
Both of them.
You had both of them? Okay.
Yep,
I did not.
Was third on my list, and then Army of the Dead was 4th on my list.
Okay.
Treebeard was number 1 on my list all day, every day.
Okay. I didn't even think of Treebeard, which is my problem.
I didn't think of Treebeard either. That was great.
Okay. Well, yep. You can follow us on Facebook, Elves, Rings, Nerdy Things. You can email us at elvesringsnerdythings@gmail.com. Thanks again, Mike, for coming, and we will talk to you next week.
All right. Bye, everybody.